we had two, and we were going, seemed like forever, to the pastor's home to study for our confirmation. And this particular night was the last night, so we decided we were going to have a little fun on the way home. Of course, back then, churches were never locked, so you could go in anytime you wanted to. So we passed the church from the pastor's home, and we decided we'd go in there. And one of the boys said he could play the organ. And then we decided, well, we needed something to drink. But our church did not have Coke machines. So I said, that's okay. My father buys the wine for communion. I know where it is. So we went and got 2 bottles of wine. We didn't have any cups or anything. So we drank out of the bottle. Well, the guys went up and started playing the organ. Except they weren't playing hymns. They played dance music. And we were dancing up and down the aisle. And all of a sudden, here stood the minister. We forgot that when we put the lights on in the church, he could see that from his home. He could hear the organ. He didn't say anything. He just stood there and he said, I think you better clean up and get out of here, because when I get home, I'm going to call every one of your parents and tell them what I just saw. Well, we got out of there in a hurry. And we were all canvassed for a month afterwards. That was our punishment. You could go to school, but nothing else.
We have just a few minutes for questions. If anybody has a question.
During the war, did the underground know what was going on in the concentration camps?
Oh, yeah. We knew.
It was going on.
Yeah. We got to England, we got pictures, and we got all the information about the concentration.
So the English was wrong.
And after the war was over, I was working for a while with the Red Cross. And I went down to Germany to pick up. There were a lot of kids in Berlin. They had lost their parents. They had nowhere. They lived on the streets. And Norway and Sweden had offered to take care of them. So we went down to pick them up. Of course, they had to go through a shower before they came into Denmark. They would not do it. You could not get them to go into the shower. Because they knew what was in the showers. It wasn't water, it was gas. But we got them through, and a lot of them went to Sweden and Norway.
Eva, I'm wondering if you were ever afraid, and what was the risk to you or the others that were in the underground?
Lady, when you're 17 years old, you're not afraid.
Eva, how many people were in the Danish Underground?
Well, where I was, there was probably about 200.
Did you know anybody that ever got caught?
Did we what?
Did you know anybody in the underground who got caught?
Oh, yeah. I had 3 of my high school mates. They got caught and were shot. And where I lived in Copenhagen, if you open your windows early in the morning, you would hear singing, and it was always "Kneel my God to thee." And you knew there would be gunshots following that. And that's when the Germans got rid of them.
Another question? How many people does she think she helped save?
Oh, I'm not sure, but probably a couple of hundred. And I've often wondered what happened to him afterwards. But of course, we never saw any of them again. Of course, I left Denmark, so I didn't know if any of them came back to Denmark.
About what time, what year was it when you were finally able to make it to nursing school that you wanted to do that?
You know,
What year did you finally make it to nursing
oh,
school?
I came over here in 1950, and it was 57 when I graduated from nursing.
You told us before that Bill Legend that worked with you, that was in the embassy, was killed by Nazis. Did you tell us that?
The what?
You told us that the woman that was working on the underground and also in the embassy and he walked around and they killed her.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had somebody, they were a little gun happy, and they shot her on the steps of the German embassy. They didn't know who she was, and they thought she was German coming out of the building there, so they just shot her.
Eva, we could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And we can take a couple more questions, or we can stop this.
Whatever suits.
Do you want to take a couple more questions?
My father died 2 years after I came over here. My mother had 2 strokes. And the first time I went back home, she did not even know who I was. And after I went back, she had another stroke, and she never came out of that one. But my sisters kept inviting me how terrible it was to go visit her, and she didn't know who they were, and she couldn't talk. Well, she had tubes coming out of everywhere, and the only reason she was still there was because of machinery. So I wrote the doctor that took care of her, and I said, "Will you please discontinue everything? She has no brain waves. She is already dead, and it is ridiculous to keep her like this." And evidently he told my sisters what I had written, and they disowned me. They said the very idea that I could kill my own mother could never be forgiven. And she was already dead. You have no brain wave, you're not alive.
You can see why we learned about this courageous father. Courageous a whole lifetime. Thank you, Eva.